Hello everyone, this is Sangeeta Sharma and welcome back to Smart Credit Bites. Pull up your chair and grab your chai and let's get started with today's podcast. Today I'll talk about why MSMEs business actually fail, and no, I'm not going to give you that usual suspect, the poor cash flow management or maybe the lack of market research, because that you can find in every business textbook. Today I will tell you something different from my years of experience in banking, which I learned through talking to hundreds of business owner entrepreneurs. And these reasons why business fail are not usually listed on the bankruptcy paper. They are actually written in the hearts of the people who started them. So let's quickly start. So let me start with something that might sting a little. So the number one reason I see why MSME fail is that um, the founder becomes the business and the business becomes the founder. I hope you are understanding that the business and the founder both are so intertwined that you can't tell where one ends and where the other begins. Sounds familiar, right? Now, here what this look like in real life. A client of mine, Suman, she runs a marketing agency. She's very brilliant. Her clients love her. But the problem is that that only she can do her work the way it needs to be done. She can talk to the clients. She understand the strategy. She hired people, but they are basically her hands, not her brain. So now what happens when she gets sick for 2 weeks? Her business nearly collapses, or maybe if she wants to take a vacation she can't because everything will fall apart. Now the business has not failed yet, but it's already imprisoned her, right? This is her identity trap, and it's the insidious because it feels like passion, it feels like commitment, it feels like you are doing the right thing by being so hand on. But let me tell you the truth. If your business can't survive without you for a month now, you don't own a business. You own a job. It's just like a job to you. And it's the most demanding, underpaid job you will ever have. Now the failure here is not immediate. It will be slow. It can be burnt out because you took no rest. It's watching opportunity pass by because you are too buried in your day-to-day tasks. It's like realizing 5 years in that you have built a beautiful prison for yourself. Trust me. And the really heartbreaking part is now when these businesses finally do fail, the owner don't lose their income, they lose their identity because they are the business. And when it goes down, a part of them goes down with it, right? So okay, now let's talk about the next one reason, and this might make you some uncomfortable. I call it the friendship tax. Yes. Here's a scenario I have seen play out of dozen of times. Two friends start a business together. They know each other since college, maybe school time. They trust each other completely. They skip the hard conversation because, well, they are friends. They don't need a formal partnership agreement. And that's for people who don't trust each other, right? No, please, this is wrong, so wrong. I just remember I talked to a guy, I think Samarthya, who started his software company with his best friend from his college, and they were going to change the world together. They for the first year, everything was great. They were working out in his house from his house, surviving on instant noodles and dreams. But then Samarth wanted to bring in investor and scale up, but his partner wanted to stay small and comfortable. He was comfortable in that. But Samath wanted to work 80 hours a weeks. His partner wanted work-life balance. I know neither of them was wrong, but they had never discussed what success looked like to each of them. They could not have the that real conversation because they were afraid that it would ruin their friendship. So both of them they avoided it until resentment built up like pressure in a volcano. And you know what happened? The business failed, and ultimately what was affected is their friendship. And here's what nobody tells you, right? Mixing your friendship with business will not protect the business, it will actually make it more fragile, because now every business disagreement feels like personal, and every strategic difference becomes an emotional wound. Yes. And this friendship tax is not about partners either. It is about hiring your cousin who's looking for something but is not really qualified. It is about giving your friend's kid a job just out of loyalty. Or maybe it's about not firing someone who's dragging down the team because they are your buddy. Now, these decisions feel like kind, loyal in that moment, but they are slowly bleeding your business dry. And when the business fails, trust me, those relationships often fail anyway. But now, with added bitterness and financial loss, the hardest lesson in business, sometimes love is not enough. Sometimes kindness to one person is cruelty to everyone else who depends on that business. Okay, all right. Now let's talk about something. Uh, Next reason, sometimes business fail because they succeed too early. Wait, what? Okay, let me explain. I know you're like, why success? Okay, now early success is just like a drug. It convinces you that you are smarter than you are, and that you have figured it out, right? That the rule don't apply to you. Now I know this girl named Priya who started a food delivery service focused on healthy meals. Her first 6 months were sorry incredible. She got featured in her local magazine. Orders were flooding in, and she was already planning for her second location. But here's what she did not realize: her early success was based on a very specific set of circumstances. She was the only healthy food delivery option in her neighborhood. Now, she got lucky in that magazine article. Her two competitors had just closed down for unrelated reason. Now, she thought her success was because of her brilliant business model. No, but the reality was that she was just caught in a lucky way. So, what did she do? She expanded fast, and for that she took debt. She hired the big team. She opened the second location. She took it on rent, and then third. And then the market shifted. After seeing her, new people joined, two new competitors came in with better funding, with better resources, and the magazine article just much wore off. Now, suddenly, she was hemorrhaging money, locked into expensive leases with a payroll she even can't afford. And you know what? The result was her business collapsed in less than a year, and she was left with debt. Now, here's the thing about early success: it's often the most dangerous phase of your business, because it makes you confident when you should be just cautious. It makes you think you know things you don't actually know yet, right? Real sustainable success is not about getting lucky once, it's about understanding why you succeeded so you can replicate it. It's about testing your assumption constantly. It's about being paranoid even when things are going well. The business that survive are not always the ones that shoot up like rockets. Sometimes they are the ones that grow slowly, consistently, make mistakes while they are still small, and they can recover from them and build foundation before they build that big empires. Now, but our culture celebrates the rocket ships. We see the startups that raise millions and expand nationwide in a year. We don't see the hundreds that crashed, burned, trying to do the same thing. The success is a delusion, and it is deadly because it feels so good. It feels like validation. It feels like you are finally making it, and admitting that maybe it was partly luck, maybe you don't have it all figured out, and that feels like weakness. But that admission, that humility, that might be the thing that saves your business, trust me. Now, here's the one next reason that hurts most is vision blindness. Yes, every entrepreneur starts with a vision. Trust me, that's good. I once started my channel, my startup with a vision, and I'm telling you that's necessary. But here's where it goes wrong. They fall so in love with the vision that they stop seeing the reality. Let me tell you about uh, Ashish. Ashish had this incredible vision for a bookstore that was also a coffee shop, event space, and community hub. Beautiful, right? It's like dream space. Now, in his mind, it was perfect. He could see every detail: the vintage furniture, the smell of coffee, the old books, the poetry readings on every Thursday nights. And he spent 2 years, his entire life saving, building this vision. Now, custom bookshelves, a high end espresso machine, a small stage for performers, even. And it looked gorgeous. But it failed in 8 months. Why? Because Ashish was so focused on his vision that he didn't pay attention to what his customers actually wanted. Turns out most people who wanted to buy books ordered them online, because this is the now everyone wants online at their home. Now people who came in for coffee did not actually want to be surrounded by books. They wanted good Wi-Fi and power outlets just to work. The Thursday night poetry readings, great idea, but they attracted people, maybe 15 people, or most of them, they did not buy anything. Now Ashish had built his dream, but he hadn't built that what market needed, what was the reality check. This I call is vision blindness. It's when you are so attached to your original idea that you can't pivot. You ignore the feedback, you dismiss the data, you keep pushing forward, because you believe that if you just do your vision hard enough, the market will eventually come around and sometimes it will grow. But trust me, market don't care about your vision. Customer don't care about your dreams. They care about whether you are solving their problem or not. Now, the saddest part, the information was all there. His first month sales pattern showed everything he needed to know, but he expanded it away. He explained it away, right? Oh, it's just because just I'm new to this business. Once people will know, they will take it. My business will take off. I just need to market it better. He was not stupid. He was not lazy. He was in love with his only vision, and love makes you blind. Now, the business that succeed, they start with a vision, sure, but then they fall in love with their customer instead. Yes, they don't fall in love with their vision. They try to learn the customer taste. They let the reality shape their vision, not the other way around, right? They are willing to kill their darlings just for the sake of customers. And that's incredibly hard to do, because your vision is why you started. It's your baby. Changing it feels like failure, right? Pivot feelings like giving up. But you know what, the most successful entrepreneurs say, my business today looks nothing like what I planned. And they say it with pride, not regret, because they had the wisdom to listen. Now, vision blindness is not about having no vision, it's about holding it too tightly. It's about being so focused on where you think you should be going, then you don't notice you are driving off a cliff. Yes, now, let's talk about something that nobody mentions in any business school: energy management. We talk about time management every time. We talk about money management, but we never talk about energy management. And I think it's the silent killer of your small businesses. Now, here's what I mean: running a small business is exhausting in ways that employment never is, right? When you are an employee, you clock out. Your brain might still think about work, but the responsibility stops there. Now, the bug does not stop with you, right? But when you are a business owner, you are never really off. You are worrying about the payroll at 2 a.m. You are thinking about that difficult client during your kids' soccer game, maybe during movie time. You are checking your email even on your vacation. And here's the insidious part. In the beginning, you run an adrenaline. The excitement of starting something new, the fear of failure, the passion of your idea, all of that creates that incredible energy that feels unlimited. But it's not unlimited, it's borrowed energy, and eventually the bill comes due. Trust me. I watched this happen with my friend. He ran a digital marketing agency, and for 3 years he was unstoppable. First one in, last one out. Always available for clients, working weekends, skipping vacation. He was productive. He was also successful. Everyone admired his work ethic. And then it crashed. Not metaphorically, literally. He ended up in the hospital with stress related health issues. He had to take 3 months off from his business, and during those 3 months, he realized something terrifying. He had built a business that required an unsustainable amount of his personal energy to function. Now, when he recovered, he got back. He tried to keep going, but he could not. The engine was burned out. He had used up all his reserves, and within a year, he has to close his business. Now, here's what nobody tells you: your energy is not renewable, right? In the short term, you can't just push through indefinitely, right? You are not lazy if you need rest. You're not weak if you need boundaries, trust me. And if your business model requires you to operate 100% capacity all the time, then your business model is broken. The business that fail from depletion don't usually fail dramatically. They fade. The owner gets slower, less sharp. They start avoiding the hard works. They make bad decisions because they are too tired to think clearly. Client service drops, their quality slips, and slowly the business withers. This is not about, I'm talking about work life balance. I actually hate this term. It's about sustainability. It's about building a business that you can run for 20 years, not just two, right? Now let's talk about something that trips up so many smart people: the fear of being too simple. I see this especially with educated professionals with MBAs or technical background. They feel like their business need to be complex to be legitimate. Like if it's simple, they are not doing anything special. So they overcomplicate everything. They offer too many products because they don't want to leave money on the table. They add features nobody asked for because they are trying to differentiate. They create elaborate processes, systems with when a simple spreadsheet work fine. All of sorry, I now the problem is that they are trying to act like a big company when the advantage when they can get the same advantage by being small, being simple, nimble, and focused. Complexity feels sophisticated. I know simplicity feels scary because it feels like you are not doing enough. But here's the truth: simple businesses are easier to manage, easier to scale, and easier to sell if you want to exit. Every layer of complexity you add is another thing that you can break, and another thing you can have to manage, and another thing that dilutes your focus. Now the fear of simplicity kills businesses because it spreads you too thin. Now you can become mediocre at 10 things instead. You can become excellent at one thing. Now the choice is completely yours, right? So there you have all the real reasons why MSME fail. Now, the identity trap, the friendship tag, the success delusion, vision blindness, energy depletion, and the last one, the fear of simplicity. Now, none of these are in the business textbook, I know, but I would bet that if you are honest with yourself, you have felt that pull, at least one of them, if you are an MSME. And share what I want to know, what I want you to know. Recognizing these patterns does not mean you are weak or failing. It means you are aware, and awareness is the first step to building that lasts. The businesses that survive are not any superhumans. They are run by people who are honest about the limitation, who are willing to learn, who can admit when they are wrong, and who understand that success is not about perfection. It's about adaptation. Because the so take a look at your business, really look at it, not at what you wish it was, but at what it actually is, and ask yourself, which of these traps am I walking into? Now, thank you for listening, everyone. If this resonated with you, I would love to hear your story. What's the real reason you have struggled, and what's the thing nobody talks about? Until next time, keep building, keep planning, and most importantly, keep being honest and with yourself. Take care. Thank you.